Right. Hey, hi everyone. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Hello. Hi. Can we have some interaction in the chat? We'll start with your today's session, day three of your SQL bootcamp. But before that, we'll just wait for 5 minutes for everyone to join in. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Hi. All right. I hope you all had insightful session for past 2 days, and today is the last day of your SQL bootcamp. So I hope you all are excited, or you have learned something new for all 2 days, and you will learn something new today as well. Uh, can can everyone send me hi if you can just able to hear me? Send a hi to me in the chat. Hello everyone. Hi. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Roshan. All right, great. So let's just wait for 2 minutes. Others are joining in, and then we can start for today's session. All right. Before that, let me just remind you about the reward or the competition we are having. So you all know that from this week we have started doing this activity that whatever you are learning, you have to post it on your LinkedIn tag. Let's upgrade, right? So you can either for today you can either post about today's session, or you can also post what you have learned from past 3 days. Take a screenshot of your project, whatever you have built, or you can take the screenshot of the session like this YouTube box, and then you can just post it on your LinkedIn tag. Let's upgrade. So you by doing this you will be eligible for winning the reward, and we will be announcing the winner on Monday. All right. I hope I'm clear on this. All right. Hello, Niranjan. Great guys. So apart from this, let's start with your today's session. I'll ask your trainer to be on the stage. Welcome, Rohit sir.
Hello, hello, good evening,
Yeah,
ladies.
let's start with today's session, sir. Yeah.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing great. Good evening, who has joined? Gaurav, Agnish, Arya, Akash, Sarthak, Niranjan, Monica, King. Hello, hello, good evening. Hey, Gaurav, hey, Kritika. So, today, what we are going to learn? Today, we are going to resume our SQL session. We're going to start with joins, aggregate functions, group by, having, and nested queries. Okay, let's start. And also, let me show you first. I'll be writing the SQL queries today in a new tool. I'll tell you about that tool as well. I liked it, so I thought of sharing it with you guys as well. The tool is called Chat2DB. When my screen is visible, do let me know if you can see the tool. So this is the tool. Well, what's the difference? Nothing much. The difference is this is a newer tool. It has AI inbuilt also as compared to Workbench. Workbench is a very good tool, but now has become a little bit older. You can see more colors in here, and the best part that I like about this is you can zoom in wherever you want in this. Workbench didn't allow this. Yeah, it is very much like VS Code only. Yeah, I would say it is very much like Workbench as well. You have these tables and structures, views, functions, stored procedures on the left, your command prompt on the right, and the result will be shown at the bottom. All right, let's start. Joins. I gave you two assignments yesterday. I'll solve them in the class as well, but Ara, the information, please don't spam. The information to get the certificate is already in the all-in-one document, and I think on the first day, Anam explained that as well. So don't keep asking the same question again. Okay, so in SQL, we have left join, we have inner join. Before going on to what these are, join is used to collect data from two or more tables. I'll tell you about joins with some examples. Let's talk about inner join first. In a nutshell, what inner join is, it only gives you matching data. We use join to get data from two or more tables. Inner join in that only gives us data which is present in two or all the tables there are in the join. Right now we are talking about only two tables, so inner join will give us data which is present in both the tables. Well, let's write it. And for people who are asking the name of this platform, it is written right at the top. Please zoom in your screens and you can see it for yourself. Gaurav, let's focus on what we are teaching here. Don't pay attention to all of that. Let's focus. So my task is this. I have to get the list of students who have enrolled in at least one course. Well, okay, let me also show you the students table. So let's start from students. So these are the students, right? Some of them have enrolled in some courses, some of them haven't. So I only want to find out the students who have enrolled in one or more than one courses. Now this prompt or this question requires me to get data from students table, but also data from courses table. This is where join comes in. This is where join comes in. I'll write the code and I'll explain it very slowly. I'm also writing what columns I need, what information I need. I need first name and last name from students and enrollment date from the other table. Prafulla, to answer your question, Power BI, SQL, they all have importers these days. The tool that you are using for SQL, that also has an importer. You can import data, you can export data, and Power BI also has system to import data, to import SQL file, JSON file, CSV file. All you need to do is find in the menus from where you can import data. We are making a project, Sarthak. In databases, in SQL or other RDBMS, we create databases. We do not create projects. You have to understand this first. Just to answer your question, the project that you are seeing on the screen, this is the project that we are making. You can use whichever tool you want, GameSlayer. So I have written select first name, last name, enrollment date. Now, first name, last name are columns from student table, but enrollment date is a column from some other table, is a column from another table, right? From enrollments. But all I have written is that get data from the students table. I need to now join the student table with some other table. I'm joining it with enrollments, and whenever you use join. Now, if you are wondering why inner join, because I only want the data which is common, which is present in both students and enrollments. That is why we use inner join. How do we import data from Workbench to Chat2DB? These are questions of which you can get answers in the first 10 seconds of installing this software. But if you want to know, click on this uh, workspace icon. It will ask you to connect to the database. Click on MySQL. When you do, all the databases that you have in Workbench will be automatically imported. Sarthak, please at least ask some better questions. Join, whether inner or left, we use on. After on, we write that common link between both the tables. And yes, if you want to have data from two or more tables, if you want to apply join on two or more tables, all the tables should have one common link, that is a field present in both the tables. In our case, it is the student ID. Student ID is present in student table as well as in enrollment table. The statement that I have written, this does not make any sense right as of now. What I have written is select first name, last name, enrollment date from students. Well, there's an error. Students table contains first name, last name. It does not contain enrollment date. After that, I've written inner join enrollments. Now, yes, enrollment have a field enrollment date. It does not have first name and last name. After that, I have written on, and then I've written student ID equals student ID. This makes absolutely no sense. What I'm trying to make you understand here is the use of aliases. The use of aliases. Let me show you what I mean when I say alias. This as something and as something, these are known as alias. Alias is a temporary name, or you can say a fake name of tables or columns. So what I'm saying here is, for this particular query only, know the students table as S and have the enrollments table as E. So I've given alias to both the tables, S to students and E to enrollments. Now, what I'll say is this: first name will be coming from S, that is students table, S dot last name, but enrollment date will be coming from E. Now, this will tell SQL where to find these two columns and where to find this column. And very similarly, what I'll say down here will be the same. Sorry, no space required. Now this is the proper query to join two tables or to get data from two tables to answer your question, Sakshi. Select S dot first name or students dot first name or first name which is in students, last name which is in students, enrollment date which is enrollment, where S stands for students, join the data with enrollments which we know as E, and join on the basis of what condition, where student ID matches in both the table. Now this line is important, where student ID is the same or matches in students as well as in enrollments. This will give us the list of students who have enrolled. That is, this will give us the students who are present in both students table and enrollment table. Let's execute and see if we get something. Oh, this one. As you can see, we have in total 8 students. We have in total 8 students, but the join is only giving us 5. Why? Because the other 3 have not enrolled in courses. The other 3 have not enrolled in any course. Why the enrollment date? Just to make sure that yes, these students did enroll in some course. As you can see, we are only having the common data. That is, we do not have the first name, last name of students who haven't enrolled. As you can see, we don't have Sarthak's data, we don't have Diane's data, and some other data as well. We don't have Ara, we don't have Sonia in this list because they haven't enrolled. Now, this is what we know as join to get data from 2 tables. We used inner join because we wanted to get the common data from the 2 tables. Just to make you understand the second type of join, which is left join. All I'm doing is changing the inner to left and executing this query again. You can see the difference. We now have all the students from the left table. As you can see, we have now 9 records. Left join simply means to get all the data from left table or the first table. Left table, yeah, first table means the table which you write first, because I've written students first, so students is the left table. To get the data from left table, all the data from left table, even if it has matching data in the second table, or even if it doesn't. As you can see, these 4 students do not have corresponding data in the enrollment table. Still, they are showing up. Now, which join to use, that is entirely up to us, whether we want only the common data or whether we want data from the whole data from the first table. This is very simple example of inner join and left join. I hope you get the difference. All I did was changed the inner to join. Change the inner to left. Yes, fantastic, Gaurav. Good summarization. Now the task is this: get a list of all students and show their enrollment date if they have an enrollment date. Now the question itself suggests us which join to use. As it says that we want the list of all students, we can use left join because we want all the students, right? Not inner join, we are using left join. Same thing, almost the same thing, right? Another task, which is this. We have to list all the available courses. Good evening, Raju. And see how many students are enrolled in each course. We have to include courses which do not have any enrollment. This shows us that we need a left join. That because we have to list all the courses. Courses will be our left table, and we will have all the courses. That means left join. So I'm taking course name and teacher from course. Oh, actually, to see how many we have to use count. Oh, no problem. Count is not that much difficult. Although we haven't understood count, but nonetheless, it's very, very, very simple. I'm sure you will be able to understand this one. Let's see what we get. So what I have written: select course name and teacher from courses. Select student ID from enrollment and count the number of student IDs from enrollment. Use an alias as total students for that number. Make courses as the left table, make enrollment as the right table, give them aliases. Only select those columns which have the matching course ID. For every other column, leave the data which is not present as null. This is what we are trying to say here. Let's see if we can get some results in this. We didn't have the count. Why so? Oh, without group by. Achha, oh, we haven't studied group by yet. Oh, we haven't studied group by yet. Okay. Okay, let us leave this query for a few minutes. I'll come back to it later, I promise, because we haven't studied group by, so this won't work as of right now. I'll come back to this. Don't worry. I asked you two questions yesterday. Those were also from join. The thing was that required you to join three tables. So let me find out what the questions were. What does this question mark mean, Gaurav Sharma? So I asked you two questions yesterday. Those questions were this. First, create a list showing the full name of each enrolled student and the name of the course that they are enrolled in. Okay, let's see if we can find some answer to this. So the first thing we want, create a list showing the full name of each enrolled student. That is, we need to have the students table, and it will be the left table. Because we need full name, that means we need to have first name and last name both. We also need the name of the course that they are enrolled in. So let's take course as well. S and C will be the aliases. Select this. First, the name of the left table, which will be students. Students as S. So for the query is not executing correctly, so that's why that will be executed, Gaurav. It needs group by as of right now, and we haven't studied group by. So I'm just leaving it for a few minutes later. I'll come back to that query. I'll come back to this query in a few minutes when we have studied group by. All we need to do is we need to add group by to this because we haven't studied it. Let's leave it for a minute. Okay. So let's start from this. From students as S, we need enrolled students. That is, we need inner join, and we need it on enrollments. Let's make it as E. The common table, because we are using inner join here, that means we are only getting the common fields, the fields which are in both tables, and we need a condition for that. S dot student ID matches E dot student ID. This will give me enrollment of each student. This is the solution to half of the question. Create a list showing the full name of each enrolled student. If the question was this only, then this would be the solution. अगर question इतना ही होता तो उसका solution तो ये था. But it says, and the name of the course that they what or they who, the enrolled student, and name of each name of the course the enrolled students are taking. That means what we get from this, we need to join that to a different table. That means query isn't finished yet. So what I'm doing here is again an inner join. Inner join it on courses. Use C. Inner join how or on what condition? Where course ID. C dot course ID matches E dot course ID. Not on this. Gaurav Sharma, no error is come. Where error is come? Error no come. Let's see. Okay, let's see if we have an error. Unknown column C dot course. Oh, error is come. C courses as C. Oh, I think it would be course name. Okay, I think it would be course name, not course. Yeah. Okay. Unknown column course because we have course name. Yes, thank you, Gaurav. Error did come. I think now error will not come. What I'm doing here is selecting first name, last name from students who are enrolled in some courses. No, you were right, Gaurav. The English that you used that wasn't correct, but you were correct in figuring out the error. First, I selected all the students who have enrolled, and then I figured out the course name in which they have enrolled. Let's see if we can get some data on this. Priya Sharma has enrolled in SQL for beginners. Priya Sharma is also enrolled in advanced Python. Rohan is in SQL. Anjali is in web development. Vikram is in SQL for beginners. Let's see if we have some more data. No, these are the 5 students who have enrolled in various courses. What you have to understand here is what is going on behind the scenes. First name, last name, these things. They were first fetched on the basis of common fields in students and enrollments. Then we took the data of that join and combined it with course. That is how you get these 3 data. Let me know if you have problems in understanding this join query and the result that it is showing us. Okay, Gameslayer, if you did not understand joins, let me try and make you understand joins with a simple example. Okay, Gameslayer, answering your question, join joins are used to get data from 2 or more tables. So in this case, I wanted the names of students who have enrolled in some courses. So names of students, they were present in the students table, and enrollment data was present in enrollment table. For queries like these, we need joins. So what I did was, I said, get me first name and last name from students, get me enrollment date column from enrollment. Only get those columns from both the tables where student ID in one column, or sorry, in one table matches the student ID in the other table. That is what we are saying. So what it will do is, it will first check the student ID from one table from students, and it will figure out whether that student ID is present in the enrollment table or not. If not, it will move on. It will check for the second student ID in students table, and it will check whether that is available in the enrollments table. Let's say if it is. Let's say if it is. So it will take first name and last name column from the students and enrollment date from the enrollment table, and it will continue till all the data in students is mapped, and it will then show you the result, which would be something like this. So join are used to get data from 2 or more tables. So Sakshi Awad's question, is it possible to use join for more than 2 tables? I answered it, and I showed you even that yes, we can join data from three tables. In this case, students, enrollments, and courses, we are joining data from all the three tables. Why we use enrollment table? Fahim, your question. If you can read the prompt that was given, create a list showing the full name of each enrolled student. I did not just want the names from student table, I wanted the name of students which are enrolled. That is, I wanted the students whose student ID is present in the enrollment table. That is why in this question we had to use enrollment table. Yes, Gaurav, yes, what you are saying is correct. Niranjan, the answer to your question is the same as well, because the prompt asked me to get not just any student, but students who are at least enrolled in one course. Create a list showing the full name of each enrolled student. That is why enrollment. And then we said, now tell me if they are enrolled, tell me in which course they are enrolled. If they are enrolled, I will get all the enrolled students from this query, the highlighted part. Then I'm saying, okay, tell me the course they are enrolled in. So the final result of this would be this. So Priya Sharma is enrolled in this course, Priya Sharma is enrolled in this, Rohan is in this, Anjali is in this, and Vikram is in this. Now this question, list all students. Now it's down. This says list all students, does not matter whether they are enrolled or not. List all students. If they are enrolled, if they aren't. If they are enrolled in a course, show the course name. If they are not enrolled, fine. If they are enrolled in a course, show the course name. If they are not enrolled, then also show their name. Niranjan, I'm not understanding your question. You are saying why use date? If you can see in this query, I haven't used date. I used date in a previous query, I believe. Yeah, this one. Because it asked me for the date. So moving on. Now this one. This has asked me to use list all students. Right. This time we are going to use left join. Okay, we need name, first name, last name, and we also need course. So C dot course name. Left table will of course be students. So sorry, let's select from students. Let's alias it as S. Because it says list all students, so I'm going to use left join. As simple as that. Now join on what property? This one can be a little bit different. In MySQL, Sakshi, only two, which I told you about. In MySQL, only two. Okay, the prompt says list all students if they are enrolled in a course, show the course name. Now this might prompt you to join the students table with course table. But first, you have to understand, okay, we listed all the students. Now we have to see whether they are enrolled, and enrollment data is in enrollment table. So I'm first joining students with not a course but enrollment. And on the basis of what? On the basis of where student ID in students is equal to enrollment ID in enrollments table. Oh, sorry. My bad. It will be student ID only. This will give me all the students, whether they are enrolled or whether they are not enrolled, because I'm using left join. So students from the left table will be in their entirety, and if they have enrollment, they will be fetched. The enrollment data will be fetched as well. But yes, if they are enrolled, then I need the course name. Now I will take what this join will give me, and then I will join it again, and then I will join it again. Now, mind you, whatever this gives you, you have to take it full. You don't have to only get the matching data, you have to get whatever this gives you as full in its full entirety. That is why I left join again. No inner join here. Now I will join it with the course table. Courses, I believe it is. Yeah. See? And on what condition? On with the course ID in enrollments is equal to the course ID in course. Now this might feel like a little trickier, little on the difficult side. Let's see first if we can get some output from this. If you remember, in the previous query, we were only getting 5 results, but in this one, we are getting 9 results because we used left join. So Priya Sharma and her courses, Rohan's course, Anjali's course, Vikram's course. The other 4 students did not have any course, but because we used left join, they were also included. They are also included. Now this should also tell you the difference between left and inner join. I hope I'm making myself at least somewhat clear, if not all. Because if you want to be all clear, you need practice. Now you have to write these queries by yourself, understand the result that you are getting, modify the query if you're not getting desired result. Okay, what else do we have? Hmm. Day 3's topics. Okay, first we have aggregate functions. Very simple. Aggregate functions are sum, min, max, average, count. These are known as aggregate functions. Okay, let's see them one by one. Okay, the databases that we have, the tables that we have, they don't have much numeric data. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm creating another table. Right now we have 3. Let's create one more table. That will include numbers because sum, min, max, average, count. Well, these they want numbers. So let's have some numbers. So let me create a table for marks or scores. Right. exam scores. I think that will do. Okay, so what do we need? We need ID, of course, integer, not null, and primary key, all those things. Auto increment also. Well, primary key automatic by default is not null, so whether you write that statement not null or not, it's entirely up to you. Auto increment. All I'm saying is this thing is optional. You write it or you don't. Okay, well, not start. We need score ID. We need student ID. Of course, we need to tell which students' marks or scores are this. Integer. We don't need anything else with integer. Okay, what else? Subject. Of which subject these marks are. So subject, and of course subject would be varchar. Varchar, and 100 would do, I believe. And oh yes, in this we can write not null. Score, the actual score, and integer. What else? Exam date. If you want it, just so we can have a date column. Now, foreign key. The score ID, oh sorry, the student ID in this table will serve as a foreign key, and it will take data, it will take reference from the student ID column in the students table. So students, student ID, we forgot to write students. If someone had any problems in understanding how create table works or how foreign key works, well, this is how it works. So I'm creating a table exam scores, and these are the columns. The student ID column will be a foreign key, which will take data from the students tables student ID field. Okay, let's execute this. Successful, fantastic. Let's insert some data. I'm doing some copy paste. Little bit is allowed. So I'm inserting some marks. The first student, Priya, is taking 3 exams. The second student is taking 2. This is also taking 2, and this student is also taking 2 exams. Let's see what we get. Successful. And now if I do a select star from, select star. Sorry, what was the full name? Exam scores, yeah. Select star from exam scores. Let's see what it gives me. You can see this is the table. Score ID, student ID, subject, score, and the exam date. Remember, the student ID is a foreign key. Okay, so now what do we need? We need aggregate functions. Let me copy this down below. Okay. Let's understand them one by one. Count, the simplest of them all. So what I want, count the total number of exams there were. Count the total number of exams there were. Now we already know select star. All I'm doing is select count star. Select count star. And it's a good idea to name the field of an aggregate function or alias the field and give it a proper English name. Let me give it as total exams. Let's see what I get from this. So it is saying that total exams taken were 9. If I do not give this alias, let me also show you what happens without the alias. You will get 9. You will get 9. The difference will be in the field name. With alias, it was like this, total exam. And without alias, it is saying count star. Now, count star does not tell us which count it is, right? That is why the alias is always better. This is always better. Now we know as total exams. Okay, no problem. Now we know what this 9 stands for. This 9 stands for the total exam, right? Or you can also say total exams taken or total exams conducted, whatever you want to call it. So total exams conducted are 9. If you remember, we also studied a where clause yesterday. Now we'll take help of where as well. We want to count how many students are from Mumbai. Select count star. Students from Mumbai. Let's keep it simple. Select count star as student from Mumbai. Of course, from students table. Now, in this case, we also need to have where clause, where city is equals to Mumbai. Let's see if we can get something by this. So you can see 4 students are from Mumbai. Now, in both of these examples for count, I have used count star. A note here, a very interesting note here that you should always remember. This count star is actually a very slow processor, or in computing terms, a very expensive process. Of course, it always will give us the right result, because right now our tables are very small. We only have 9 data. Let's suppose we had 9 lakh data, or we had 9 crore students data. This count star could have been very slow. The result which we would get would have been very slow. So although this is correct, an optimized version of this can be something like this. Instead of star, you can have student ID. Now, why student ID? Because we know it is the primary key, and because it is the primary key, it will not repeat. The answer will be the same. My point is this: the answer will be the same. In small data, the time consumed also will be almost the same, but when the data is large, the data is huge, when you have big data, these differences, they matter, they show up. So let me write it that this is an optimized version. You can do the same in the above example as well. Instead of count star, you can have count whatever the primary key is in exam table. It is exam score ID. So in this example, you could have done select count score ID instead of select count star. Count. This is what count does. It counts, right? Sum. Okay. Because these are very simple things, I am going through with them a little bit faster. Calculate the total score of all exams taken by a single student. Now, in this case, I am finding the student score of Priya, who has the ID 1. The query would be this: select sum score. Select the sum of column score, alias it as this from exam score to get only the scores of Priya where student ID equals to 1. Now let me first tell you the let me first show you Priya's scores. So Priya's scores are 85, 92 and 89. So this query should give us the sum of 85, 92 and 89. Let's see if we can get that. Priya's total score is 266. I think we are getting the correct result. Now, what do you want to do? You want to find the average score for a particular exam, mathematics in this case. We want to get the scores students got in mathematics, and we want to have its average. Well, the query is very simple. By now, I think you should be able to write this. The query is this: select average score. In the previous query, you said you saw sum, and from the previous, you saw count. Now, what we are doing, we are average. Select average score, alias it from exam scores where subject equals mathematics. Let's see if we can get the average. So, the average is 82.5. The average is 82.5. Let's see if we can get the full table for once. So mathematics is 85, 78, 95, 72, and we got the average of these four numbers, which was 88.5, 82.5 rather. I don't think there is much to understand in sum, count, average, right? That is why I'm going over them a little bit quicker. Min and max also are very much same and simpler. So what I want is to find the lowest score recorded in any chemistry exam, right? So what I would do, select min score, alias it as minimum chemistry score or whatever, minimum chemistry score. From where? From exam scores table, right? Where subject is chemistry. Let's see if we can get this. The minimum chemistry score is 65. In order to find out whether we are correct or not, let me get the full table. So chemistry 65 and chemistry 81, chemistry 89. Yes, the minimum score is chemistry 65. And very similarly, you can get the maximum score as well. Right. I'm leaving you a question for finding out the maximum. I'm not solving this. I'm pretty much sure you guys can do this on your own. Or do we have any questions in aggregate, max, min, count, average, and sum? Okay, so I see the engagement is very, very low today. Well, as expected, it's a Saturday. No problem. What else do we need? Okay. Now, yes, Fahim. Fantastic. It's an easy thing. On to something that confuse many students in when it comes to SQL. Group by. So we are focusing. Oh, fantastic work. Group by and having. What these two do? What are the differences? Right? Group by and having. Now this confuses even senior developers like us as well. Pretty sure this must confuse younger developers like yourselves too, right? What is group by? What is having? When to use? Which one? Right? Before writing queries, let me summarize what is group by, what is having, when to use this, when to use that. Oh, fantastic, Fahim. Fantastic. Actually, Fahim, for the last one, what you have written, because I said find the highest score achieved in any exam. Actually, we don't need the where clause. We don't need the where clause. Okay, let me give you the assigned solution for this. To get the highest score achieved in any exam, all you need to write is this. Select max score as an alias from exam scores. That will do. You don't need any where condition because it was not asked in the question. Okay, let's talk about group by and having. Let me paste some comments first that will help you understand what is what. When we use where, it is like checking the ID of each person, checking the identification, the I card of each person before they enter for any party. Right? So that is where we check all the students whether they have a proper identification or not. That is where. Now, when the where is done, when the then checking of the ID is done, then comes group by and having. When we know that all students or all people coming into a party are identified, then we can use group by and ask the people to form groups based on any condition. Group by is used to group the data on the basis of any condition. In this example, we are saying we want to make groups of people based on the city they are from. If you remember, we did a question on where city Mumbai, right? In that, we only found out how many people are from Mumbai. If we used group by in that example, we can group those students together. I think we had 4 students. We can group those 4 students if we use group by. Having, first thing, always understand, having we can only use after group by. We use having after group by. So when we have sorted the people in groups, when we have made groups based on any condition, then we can use having on those groups. We can use having on those groups. So for us to use having, we must have groups. So having is used after group by. We can use having to ask the people, to ask the groups only with more than 5 people to click a photo. You can, having is like asking only the groups with more than 5 people to stay for a photo. The first difference that you should understand between group by and having is having is only used on the groups which group by creates. Group by is used to group data and is used to group unrelated data, oh sorry, group segregated data based on any condition. Once we have those groups, then we can use having, then we can apply some conditions on those groups with the help of having. Group by is run before having. Group by is run before having to group to aggregate data. Having runs after group by to filter that already aggregated data, to filter that already aggregated group. So this was the theory, but I'm sure screen is not clear. Uh, you might need to check your internet connection. Might you can try reconnecting as well. Also, I have zoomed in a little. If this helps any clear, this helps make it any clear. Okay, so theory is theory, but let's have some proper examples. Let me take in a very, very simple example. So we have to find subjects that have been taken by more than 2 students. We are using the exam table for this. We are using the exam score table in this, right? Okay, let's see what we can do. So we need to select subject. We had subject column, right? Yeah, we had subject. So select subject and select count star from what? Oh, we also need to give alias. Number of takers. You can call it whatever you want. Okay. From exam scores, of course. Who can tell me what is the better way of counting instead of count star? What I can use in place of count star to make it more optimized? I am using count star. When you will tell me, I'll change it. So select subject and count the number of takers. Count the columns as count SID. Yes, fantastic. Subject ID, SID, very good. Subject ID from exam scores. This will not work unless we group the data. Unless we group the data, and for that, I will use group by. And group by based on what column? Group by subject. Let's see what this gives us. Count does not exist. Okay. We do have subject ID, right? Okay, let me give a count star for a moment. Let's see what happened. Okay, you have an error here. Star. What sort of? Oh, I believe the space was the culprit. Okay, okay, the space was the culprit. Oh yes, that happens. Okay, so the error was in this space. So star will also work, and score ID should also work. Subject ID, not score ID. I'm bad. Subject ID. So the error was in the space. No, unknown column subject ID. Okay, I'm forgetting the name. What it is? Oh, it's student ID, not subject ID. Anyways, you can write the correct column name. I'm giving count star. So now we know that the mathematics exam was taken by 4 students, physics by 2, and chemistry by 3. What you have to understand here is, yeah, subject ID, yes. What we did was, we counted, oh, sorry, we first grouped the data in the exam scores by subjects, and then we counted each subject. We counted the number for mathematics, we counted the number for physics, we counted the number for chemistry, and this was the results. We found that mathematics was 4 times in the table, physics occurred 2 times, and chemistry occurred 3 times. This is what group by does. This is what group by does. Now, in order for you to understand group by and having both, what I am doing is, in this very query only, what happens when we don't use group by? Okay, let's not use group by. You will get the result not as grouped as you would like, not as meaningful as you would like. Let's see. Hmm, okay, I'm getting some sort of error. I think this should do. Okay, fine. If you don't use that group by, this is all you can find. This is all you can find. We can say the number of takers were 9, but we don't know how many took mathematics, how many took this, how many took that. Or we can say is this, that we can find out all the subjects, but in order to find the correct answer that we wanted, we have to have group by. Uh, uh, no problem. So, okay, what I was saying is, let me use having in this very query. What happens if I take this query and simply add having to it? Number of takers greater than 3? Sure, let's do it. Number of takers. But yes, Videsh Kumar, we cannot use this alias here. We cannot use this alias. I'm doing what you said, but I can do that like this. Where count star is greater than 3. Let's see. Now you are only getting mathematics because physics and chemistry were not less than, were not greater than 3. If I write greater than equals to, I think I will get 2 here. I believe I will get physics as well. Chemistry, sorry. Because chemistry is now equals to 3. If I make it reverse, less than 3, so you'll get physics. I believe now we can do it. Okay. Just to take Videsh Kumar's suggestion, I believe now we can. In newer versions of SQL, I think we can do this. Let's see. Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you, Videsh Kumar. We can also do this. Instead of having count star, you can write the alias here as well. Yes, we can do this. So less than 3, greater than 3, greater than equals to 3, whatever. This is what group by does. This is what having does. This is the difference between group by and having. What you have to understand is you cannot do this. You cannot have having before group by. You have to have group by first. An assignment for you guys, which I will not solve. An assignment for you guys. We need to find students, that is, we need to find student name whose average exam score is above 85. Mind you, this will involve join, this will involve aggregate, average that is, right? And this will involve group by as well. Try to write a query for this. I'm not solving it. Okay, we don't have much time, so very quickly let's understand what subqueries or nested queries are. You can call it whatever you want. Videsh, don't write the answer just now. Let everyone else also solve. You know? Don't write the answer right now. Okay, so nested queries or subqueries are simply those queries where you have a query inside another query. Let me show you with a very quick example. I want to do this. I want to find all the students who have not taken any exam. Let me write the query, then I'll help you understand. So I want the first name, I want the last name of those students, right? Of course, this will come from the students table. So from students, fantastic, Gaurav. Here comes the fun part, where student ID. First of all, a new operator, not in. Where student ID not in. Where student ID will not be in the collection that I am about to give it. So what I'm saying is, find the first name and last name of those students whose ID you do not find in the collection of IDs that I will give here, in the collection of IDs that I will give here. And that collection will be coming from an nested query, a subquery, also known as inner query. What I'm going to write here will be the inner query. This will be the inner query, and whatever is left here, this is the outer query. Just the name, nomenclature, don't worry about it. It's just how we call these things. Where sorry, not students. We want from exams, exam scores, exam scores. Yeah. Let me put this in parentheses. Inner query must be put in parentheses. This is the inner query. This is the outer query. Because we have a query inside of a query, such statements are known as nested queries or subqueries. I don't think we are going to get a perfect answer, but let me execute this. Oh, I think we are ready. Oh, fantastic. So we now know that Arav, Sonia, Deanne, and Sarthak, they did not take any exam. They did not sit in any exam. So what I did was, now understand how nested queries work. Nested query. In nested queries, first the inner query is always solved. It is the same in programming. First, this will be solved. Yes, Gaurav, there is another way of writing this using aliases. Fantastic work, but yes, it is. I'm trying to have a very simple picture, but here, right? But yes, to answer your question, yes. Select student ID from exam scores. This will give me all the student IDs there are in exam scores, right? Out of those student IDs, I will only select the first name, last name of students which are not in this table. The four students that we saw, because they did not take any exam, so their IDs were not what was returned from this, and hence their first name and last name were returned. This is how nested queries work. A very, very, very simple example of nested queries. Okay, let me also give you another example. So I need to find the subject with the highest single score. Let me also write the query. In order to do this, this is what I can write. Now understand what is happening here. First, the inner query. Select max score from exam scores. Select max score from exam scores. If I can, I'm excited for giving test on your platform. Fantastic. Okay. First, what will happen is from the exam scores table, the maximum score will be found out. And then what we'll say, let's assume that the maximum score was 90. So what we'll say is select the subject, select the score from the table where score is this much. That will give us the subject with the highest single score. If I can execute this, so you have mathematics and the highest score is 95. A very common question that is asked in many interviews is to find out the highest salary of an employer, or to find out the lowest salary, or to find out the second highest or the second lowest salaries, things like that. Another assignment for you: find out the second lowest salary from an salary table. Now the table can have very simple fields, salary ID, name, and salary. From that table, this is a internal question. From that table, you need to find out the second lowest salary. That will involve subquery, and that will also involve, I'm writing a hint for you, a keyword limit. It's a very simple thing, so you can find out what for yourself what limit is. गौरव फिर मजा क्या आएगा? फिर मजा नहीं आएगा। सिलेक्ट एवरेज सैलरी फ्रॉम एवरेज तो पूछ ही नहीं गई थी गेम्स प्लेयर वी डिडंट आस्क फॉर एवरेज सैलरी we wanted the second lowest salary. Yes, Fahim. To answer this question, to solve this question, to write the query, you need to understand limit. Also, a very simple thing: order by descending, order by ascending. This is what order by is. Okay, if you want to have the query, let's say if we can write that. Actually, there are two ways to solve this. There are two ways to solve this. So the first way can be as this, using a nested query. If you don't want to use a nested query, well, but this is a good solution. However, if you don't want to use a nested query, you can use order by, and you can do something like this. But sir, one thing you're oh, no problem, God, no problem at all. So, guys, this was a 101 on SQL. This course, in my opinion, gave you a very good head start on SQL, on databases. You can take this knowledge, you can further enhance this knowledge, or you can learn about triggers, you can learn about stored procedures now, and take your knowledge forward. Also, on all the 3 days, many of you asked which project would be making, which project would we make. In databases, there are no projects, there are databases and quick retrieval of data. You create that in databases, you create that in SQL. That in itself is a project. The whole idea of this was to get you started on SQL, was to get you a very good knowledge about the basics of SQL, so that you can take that knowledge and enhance it, create good database retrieval softwares, right? Yes, this is a base for advanced SQL. We cannot fit everything in this 4 or 4.5 hours, right? So what we tried to fit was the a very solid base for you guys, right? That will be all from my side this time around. I will see you. I will hope to see you next time, right? Maybe an advanced SQL course or whatever. So that will be all from my side, guys. Thank you and all the best to each and every one of you. Bye bye.